Gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Here we are again in lecture number 12. As I told you before, in lecture 11 we started our last task or our last work in children's literature اللي هو Pinocchio, the novel Pinocchio. In lecture 11 you were introduced to this novel, Pinocchio, in a short summary, and you had an idea, a whole idea, an idea about the whole novel, from that summary. And then we also had, chapter 1 and 2, okay, from the main text with full details from the novel, from the original text. In this lecture, in today's lecture, lecture 12, again, it depends mainly on reading the text, the novel itself. So you have again to read it, but as you see here, number 12 will discuss, chapter 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5. It doesn't discuss, it gives you the text with full details, okay, from the novel, from the original copy of the novel. And then after 5, then we have jump to chapter 8, 9, and that will be all, okay, 8 and 9. Just to give you, this selection, I have been here selective just to give you an idea about, the very beginning of the story, and then jumping to 8 and 9 to give you just also an idea about, some events in the middle of the novel, and just to have an idea about, let's say the actions, the events, the experiences, that Pinocchio passes through. So you have sort of an idea about the very beginning of the story of the novel, and then something from the middle, and then in the next lecture, lecture 13, we'll have just 4 or 5, I think 4 chapters from the end of the story. So you have sort of an idea about the whole novel from the very beginning to the middle to the end, okay. And of course, I prefer that you at your own free time you buy a copy of Pinocchio, or you look for it in the internet. It's of course available, so you can read it if you think really it's something that interests you. Okay, here while reading chapter these chapters 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, please again remember to concentrate on names of characters, places, point of view, what kind of point of view, and then figures of speech, because here it's just as you see chapter. Let's have just examples of some of the important things that you need to know, okay. Let's say for example, if we jump to chapter 8, okay, here on this page, in this slide, see for example, the line that starts with Pinocchio, although a happy boy always, became sad and downcast at these words. Here, when poverty shows itself, even mischievous boys understand what it means. هنا is an example here when poverty shows itself. When poverty shows itself. This is an example of a figure of speech, of course. Okay, it says poverty shows itself, and the kind of figure of speech here is what? Personification, because poverty is being personified, yani is made as a human being. So we call this clause or part of a statement when poverty shows itself. So this idea represents what? A figure of speech, and that is called personification. Okay. Then another example of something that you need to look for and to stop at اللي هو, let's say, beginning of chapter 9, the second line, end of the second line. As he walked along, his brain was busy planning hundreds of wonderful things, building hundreds of castles in the air, talking to himself. Okay, this is all important. Talking to himself, he said. Okay, that's all. Okay, as he walked along, his brain was busy planning. His brain was busy, and this is what here. It's an important here, example of the point of view of the novel. Okay, when the point of view means the narrator of the story. So we said the story is being narrated by the point of view used in this to narrate. In narrating this story is a third person. But what kind of third person? اللي هو third person omniscient. Okay, omniscient. Omniscient means what? يعني the narrator knows about what goes inside the characters, and usually the main characters. So here is an example of the point of view being omniscient. يعني عليم خبير بإيش؟ فيما يدور في خواطر وفي قلوب وفي أذهان وفي أحلام الشخصيات الرئيسية. فهنا عندنا an example. He walked along. His brain was. The writer, the point of view, tells us that his brain was. Then he talks about what's going inside his brain. So that means the point of view here is what? Is omniscient. The point of view is omniscient. So this is another example on the same page. The next paragraph, the line starts with as he talked to himself. هنا برضه as he talked to himself. هنا the narrator is telling us that this boy, this character, is talking to himself. إذن هون معناته إيش؟ The point of view is omniscient. يعني he knows a lot. He knows what's going inside the characters and what goes between the character and himself, between the person and the character يعني and himself, between the person and himself. شو بقول? He thought he heard sounds. هنا عندنا he thought. He talked to himself. Okay, إذن هذا another example of a point of the omniscient point of view. برضه السطر الثاني الثالث الرابع اللي تحت كمان اللي هو starts with there he stopped. Okay, there he stopped, very much puzzled. هون he felt he had to make up his mind. He felt. When he felt برضه is an indication to an indication that the point of view is omniscient. Okay, here are good examples to remember. Then next page اللي هو no sooner said that than done. Okay, he started down the street going like the wind. هنا you underline this. Okay, going like the wind. هنا ايش هنا؟ We have a figure of speech. A figure of speech. يعني ايش يعني figure of speech؟ يعني استعمال مجازي للغة اللي في منها عندنا انواع كثيرة اللي هي السيميل، الميتافور، البيرسونيفيكيشن، الاناتوموبيا، المونوتومي، السيمبل، اوكي there are many. البيرسونيفيكيشن هون عندنا ايش؟ going like the wind. He started down the street going like the wind. هون about Pinocchio going like the wind. هون ايش عندنا؟ figure of speech اللي هو ايش هو؟ اللي هو simile. لأنه هنا comparison, a kind of comparison between Pinocchio and the wind اللي هو بالعربي بيسموه التشبيه. لكن هو ليش بنسميه هنا simile؟ لأنه بالإنجليزي بنسميه simile in English literature simile. Why? Because we have the word like. If we have the tool of comparison يعني بنسميها بالعربي أداة التشبيه. لما يكون عندنا أداة التشبيه شو بنسميه؟ simile. شو أدوات التشبيه في الإنجليزي؟ اللي هي like, as, such as أو similar to. Okay? If you have these tools in any statement comparing two unlike things, we call it what? Simile. So you're going like the wind. هنا figure of speech. Simile. Let me remember, you might have a question in the final exam. I'll give you a quotation from any part of the assigned text of the novel, and I tell you, for example, I give you in between quotation marks, going like the wind is an example of what? Or there is a figure of speech in this quotation. Going like, what is it? Figure of speech, what is it? Personification, simile, metaphor, irony. Then you have to know that this is an example of a simile. لو if we do not have هون نفس المثال, if we do not have like, شو بصير عندنا؟ metaphor. يعني لو الجملة تقول going, نقول he يعني Pinocchio was the wind. ما نقول he was like the wind. If we say Pinocchio was يعني he walked and he was the wind بدون like, that is metaphor. Okay, but here an example of going like the wind is a simile. So please remember these notes about about the final exam and about what you need to do and what you need to read and concentrate while reading these texts. Okay, so I think that's all for today. There's not much to discuss. All what you need is to read the text, and then what you have also in the next lecture, lecture 13, and then we wait till we get to lecture 14, when we have general discussion about the novel, kind of analysis, okay, and historical background and about the author and things related to the theme, the moral lessons that we learn or that children learn from Pinocchio. Okay, that's all for today. Again, thank you very much for listening to me, and again I always repeat myself, please, if you have any question, please contact me through my email. Thank you very much, and see you again in our next lecture. Assalamu alaikum.